Welcome back to round 2, to the VGC.
Finally.
Actually, the VGC will come up very soon. We have read your chat comments, and believe us, we want to show you the VGC, and we will do so in a couple of minutes. They are getting ready right now, and we have checked all the technical issues. They are gone now. We can make it. We will show you the VGC. Until we are ready for the VGC, there's TCG, coming up. They are starting right now. And as soon as VGC is set up, we will swap over. So let's hop right into the action, into the trading card game between Andy and Muhammad.
But wait for the VGC game as well, because we got live on screen Barry Bass Anderson versus Eloy Hahn. So you better watch out, both are well-known players. But first, let's have a look into the trading card game.
So this time there's not a mirror match coming up, I can tell you that much. Actually, there is not one Seismitoad in these decks. We will be looking at a Flareon Leafeon deck with Executor from Andy against a Fairy-type deck from Muhammad with obviously Mega Gardevoir featuring it. So this should be interesting. A nice matchup should be making up for a interesting match. The Flareon deck is a very unique deck. It is really based around that Flareon that is able to attack its opponents based on the number of Pokemon that are residing in your discard pile.
Oh, okay.
So the more Pokemon you have discarded, the heavier Flareon's attack. So this is why we see 23 Pokemon in Andy's deck, which is quite a lot for a Pokemon deck nowadays. And his tactic will be to put as many Pokemon into the discard pile as soon as possible, and while doing so, also make use of their certain abilities that they have in the discard pile.
Who do you think got the upper hand in this matchup?
Oh, it's really up to skill, in my opinion. Now, of course, there's also luck involved, but now these decks are so different from each other. It really depends on how fast is Andy able to discard the Pokemon he needs to be able to knock out Gardevoir X or Mega Gardevoir ideally in just one turn. So looking at Muhammad's deck here, he's obviously featuring Xerneas from XY1, which is putting 2 Fairy-type energy cards to 2 different benched Pokemon, and hence powering up his powerful Pokemon X as soon as possible. So if he's picking up some steam, he should be able to attack in round number 3. With a very powerful either Gardevoir X or Mega Gardevoir. And it's going to be interesting to see if Andy by that time will be able to bounce back. Looking at the deck list from Andy, he's featuring also Empoleon in his deck. Empoleon does not have, in this deck there are no prior evolutions. Obviously he's just relying on Arceus Ace in the hole to get that Empoleon from the discard pile onto the bench and make it active. As I can see, we will be now hopping into the action, so you'll see it in the action very soon.
Für die neueste Pokémon-Sammelkartenspielerweiterung, passend zur Pokémon.
And here we go. And actually, we missed it already. The Empoleon is already on the bench, as you can see Andy's deck on the right-hand side. So he is already... that Empoleon has a very powerful ability that is allowing Andy to discard one of his hand cards onto the discard pile, which he likes, obviously, because he needs those Pokemon in the discard pile, and at the same time drawing 2 cards. So that Empoleon is just working extremely well with that Flareon. And he currently has his EV active. On the other hand, Muhammad does seem to be struggling a little bit because he's starting with a Jirachi X and has also a energy attached to it. So his number 1 priority has to be get that Jirachi back, and that's exactly what he's doing. And get some energy on that Xerneas so it can get some energy out of the deck and attach it to the basic Pokemon. So here we see Andy discarding to a 1 card, and that's actually Swirlix, and get 2 more cards from his deck. And he's going to try and get a Flareon out there. He's also playing Deoxys, which is powering up his evolutions and their attacks by 10 more damage per attack. And we see that Leafeon with a energy attached on the bench against fairy type decks, that's the card you want to have powered up. It only needs that 1 energy to deal 20 damage times the amount of energy my opponent has attached to all of his Pokemon.
Is there any player having the upper hand right now? What do you think?
Well, currently Andy is having the advantage.
Okay.
I think from what I've seen, he was the one starting the match, and he was able to get an Empoleon on his bench turn 1, which is just perfect from his point of view. And on the other side, Muhammad was struggling because he started with only a Jirachi X as his active Pokemon. With the Fairy Garden gym, he was able to retweet it for free, but he had to attach that Fairy type card to his Pokemon to do that, so he's losing 1 turn. So right now, Andy is looking good, and he's in a very commanding position. He's retweeting his Eevee and getting right into the offensive. Probably attacking here with...
Oh, he did attack.
It is 30... Yeah, the damage counter says 30, so it's 30 damage for that Xerneas. And now let's see how Muhammad is going to bounce back. He has that Aromatisse out there, which is good because now he's able to swap around Fairy type energy as he wishes.
Oh, okay.
And he's getting out an N, getting some fresh cards, drawing 6 more cards, shuffling his hand into his deck. Andy's going to do the same. And now Muhammad is in a funny situation. He has his Xerneas active, which allows him to get 2 more energy cards and attach them to 2 of his bench Pokemon. But at the same time, he's enabling that Leafeon to damage him even more, because the more energy cards he has, the more damage Leafeon is going to deal. And he dealt 30 damage because of the Deoxys X on his bench, so that's 20 damage from the attack for 1 energy, and Deoxys X doing 10 more damage.
Oh, and I think we're going to hop into the VGC game in a couple of seconds, I heard.
It's seconds.
Once again, Barry Anderson versus Eloy Hahn. Both have been to Worlds already. Eloy participated in Worlds last year. Barry Anderson 2013. He is the actual CP leader of Europe. Did quite well in this circuit already, and I'm really looking forward which team he is going to bring today to German Nationals live in Stuttgart. And I'm really excited what Eloy is going to bring, because he is very well known for playing exotic teams. So let's have a good look.
Trading card games fans, as much as I would love to see the trading card game continue, we also know that we have some VGC fans out there. So let's hop right into the team preview.
Oh, we see Barry's typical standard team with a Leopard, a Scizor, probably Mega Scizor, a Breloom, a Cresselia, a Terrakion, and a Thundurus. Let's see what he's going to bring into this match.
2 Pokemon he's going to choose from. Here we go. It's the first VGC match of the day.
Hype, yeah!
I hope you like it. Leave a chat comment if you like that. We made it finally. Here we go.
So Barry wants to fight, and our screen went on. We see the typical Breloom and Breloom Leopard lead versus the Cresselia.
It's a shiny Cresselia, I like that.
Cresselia and Hitmontop lead. We see the Intimidate going on and hindering the Breloom plus Leopard, but Leopard doesn't really care about Intimidate. But it's a kind of good lead for Barry, because he can just fake out the Capoeira, as we see the German name, and he can spore the Cresselia. So that's a pretty easy way to get the match started, and he is very well known for making good plays. Let's see what he's going to do. Yeah, Hitmontop.
So he's switching out that Hitmontop, and let's see, the 3rd Pokemon is Heatran. So obviously in a good matchup against that Breloom, and Leopard is using that. Ah, perfect, well done. He switched out that Pokemon where he expected the fake out, obviously.
And we see the Icy Wind from Cresselia doing damage to Breloom and Leopard. Now Heatran is guaranteed faster than both Pokemon. Oh, and we see the Spore.
But the Spore.
Oh, and Cresselia goes to sleep. Not a good day to sleep today. Oh, and we see the leftovers by Heatran, so there is no safety goggles or stuff or Shukaberry or Choppleberry even. So it's a pretty easy play for Eloy as he can just go for a Heat Wave. Barry can switch in his Terrakion, I think, expecting the Heat Wave. Let's see what Barry and Eloy are going to do.
Here we go, Cresselia's coming out, has done his job slowing down the two opponents' Pokemon, bringing in that Hydreigon, another nice and shiny Hydreigon.
Oh, yeah, shiny.
And also Liepard is coming back to its trainer. And we see the third Pokemon, it's Terrakion.
Yeah, Barry expected the Heat
it's
Wave.
A double switch.
Oh,
It's
and he
another
got his
Cresselia.
Cresselia.
And Heatran seems to be the only Pokemon willing to attack this turn. It's the Heat Wave connecting with both opponents' Pokemon.
But Barry predicted that Heat Wave and sent in his Terrakion and Cresselia because he didn't want to get his Breloom knocked out and get his Liepard potentially knocked out. So it was a pretty safe play by Barry's part. And we now see a good matchup for Eloy.
For all of you international viewers, this is a chance for you to learn a little bit German. This is a German screen, as you can see. From what you know from your international games, you know what these comments like Zeitlimit, which is the time limit, mean in your language. And also some of the Pokemon names appear here in German, but we will do our best to translate them into English in real time.
And I have to correct myself. Sorry, it is a good matchup for Bass right now on the field, not for Eloy.
So Hydreigon is coming back, and Hitmontop is making its second appearance, nice and shiny and dancing in a good mood, obviously, and bringing down the attack of Terrakion and also Cresselia.
Hitmontops are very well known for dancing all night long.
I like it. It looks like it has a lot of energy left. And Liepard is also coming back. A lot of switches going on, I noticed that. And
yeah.
a Protect from Heatran. It is obviously protecting against Terrakium's
Close combat.
close combat. Well done. So it's a lost move for both players, isn't it?
No, it was no lost move for Eloy because he brought in his Hitmontop, which intimidated the Terrakion. Now depends on how well the Heatran is trained. Can live a close combat from Terrakion and come back with a Flash Cannon. So I got a problem. We got a problem on our screen. Now it's coming back. Here we go. Okay, let's see what's going on there. Pretty good battle until yet. Both players are switching really good. Both players try to get the upper hand on the field. So is Barry doing again, switching out his Terrakion for his Cresselia. And Barry goes for Fake Out to fake the Hitmontop out. So no Protect from Eloy's side because he's in fear of the Prankster Encore Liepard God. So once you protect yourself, Liepard can Encore you into that Protect and makes your Pokemon useless. So you have to switch out or just stay useless on the field. It's a pretty equal game actually. Both players are trying to get always the upper hand on the table. It's lasting relatively long for a Liepard Loom team. And Bess is really known for playing that team the whole season, so everybody...
Here's that Encore from Liepard onto that Heatran. So it's going to be locked into that one move. And Cresselia is powering up its special attack and also defense with a Calm Mind.
That's pretty tough versus the Heatran.
And Heatran is trying to get that Liepard down. No, it's not enough. But now Hitmontop is finishing this Liepard and is knocking out the first Pokemon of the match.
The first KO we see today in Stuttgart. He doubled up into that Liepard. So Eloy is ahead with 4 Pokemon against 3 Pokemon, but 1 Pokemon is still asleep from Eloy. It's Cresselia. So let's have a look. Bess is just in the corner to lose this game unless Cresselia Calm Minds up.
What is Eloy's strategy against Cresselia powering up its special forces?
Depends on what the Heatran runs. He may burn it with Heat Wave. Oh, he wanted to do the Heat Wave, but he just recognized that he's still on court into the Earth power.
This might and will affect his decision making. Does he have to switch Heatran out, or will he continue using Earth power?
I guess he will switch it out. He got the Hydreigon in the back, which can Dark Pulse the Cresselia, commanding up. Dark Pulse is super effective against the Cresselia and can potentially flinch it to the win. But it's also scared by the Breloom. So let's see what he's going to do.
So Heatran's going back as predicted by you, Sebastian, and it's going to be another Cresselia facing the battle, and it's still asleep.
Oh, when he's paused.
And another Pokemon going to sleep with Hitmontop because Breloom is getting out its Spore.
Oh, and we see Hidden Power around by Cresselia. We've seen it before in regionals. And he wanted to catch the Heatran, but Eloy predicted that pretty well and switched in the Cresselia, absorbing the Hidden Power round.
Quite a tired pack of Pokemon now on the field. What do you do if both of your Pokemon are asleep?
That's pretty tough. That's really pretty tough. You try to avoid getting 2 or more Pokemon fall asleep. It's pretty hard to do anything. You don't want to switch in because you don't want to have more Pokemon asleep. You just hope you only get 2 or 3 rounds of sleep.
And the Bullet Seed from Breloom and another Calm Mind. It's obviously making use of the additional time Barry now has to power up his Cresselia, while both of Eloy's Pokemon are still asleep.
So we see the timer. We still got 6 minutes to go. I don't think that Eloy is going to play on time. He's ahead for 3. I want to explain the timer for those who didn't play on an official event yet. If the timer is over, you see it there called Zeitlimit 6 minutes and 30. When it's over, you win when you got more Pokemon as your opponent. If you got equal Pokemon, you win if you got more HP left. So that's a pretty standard tactic to win against like double teams, which rely on minimize or double team to win the game. You just time stall them. So time stall is sometimes a good tactic.
Oh, Hitmontop is coming back. It's seen enough of that sleep already. It's Hydreigon coming into the battle ring. And
the protected
is protecting, obviously anticipating one of the Pokemon to wake up, but that's not the case. Cresselia is still asleep. And it's opposing Cresselia is using Ice Storm, a very effective move against the Hydreigon. It's taking 50% of that health, also slowing down both Pokemon.
And now I think Barry is going to double up into that Hydreigon. I bet he's going to just Match Punch it and Icy Wind again. But he's still in fear of the sleeping Cresselia, who can potentially kill the Breloom. But I bet, yeah, it's going out.
Hydreigon is coming back again, and that tired Hitmontop
is coming in again. I guess Eloy and his team didn't get that much sleep yesterday.
It's at least intimidating both of the opposing Pokemon, which is only relevant to the Breloom. Taking the Bullet Seed again to that Cresselia, which is still asleep.
But that takes like literally nothing. I guess it's heavily trained into defense. Oh, and we see a crit, the first crit. And Cresselia is just hanging on
another Ice Storm coming out. Is that enough? Oh no, Cresselia is barely hanging on with 6
it's still
HP. Now can it make use of it and wake up this turn? No, it's still asleep.
3 turns sleep. But maybe Eloy can make use of it because he didn't lose a single Pokemon yet. Let's see what he's going to do. The Hitmontop looks tired and dances a little bit slowlier. Barry is now in a pretty good spot because the Cresselia doesn't even do any more much to the Breloom, his only fear. Breloom can just take it out yet. He got his own Cresselia at +2/+2, so it's pretty strong right now and can take out the Hitmontop. And Barry is about to win this game unless Eloy is reaching the timer with 4 Pokemon, but I bet he won't. So he's still thinking and 3 seconds left. Better do something, Eloy.
Now that Cresselia is coming back, so he's saving it for later or trying to save it from fainting. And in comes that Heatran again.
And he match punches into that Heatran, which hurts.
That's about 1/3 of its health. And there's a Psychic attack on Hitmontop, and it can't withstand that attack. Hitmontop is going down. And now we're back to even.
We're back to even, but Barry is in front. He got that hidden power ground, which kills Heatran. He got that Breloom, which can just match punch the Hydreigon. So
which is coming out right now.
Let's have a look. Barry is far ahead. We have to see some wonderful plays by Eloy, but it's hard to make it back. It's really hard to make it back in this step of the game. Both Pokemon of Barry threaten the both Pokemon. Eloy still got. And Eloy is okay. So the Hydreigon.
Another protect from Hydreigon.
And here we go. We see the hidden power ground,
which is enough to take down the Heatran.
And it faints. It faints. So that's it for Barry Anderson.
And the Breloom couldn't connect with Hydreigon, which was protecting itself, and now Cresselia fast asleep, and Hydreigon only down to half of its health. That's a bad matchup for Eloy now.
Yeah, because the Cresselia can just easy win both Pokemon and take him out.
And that's a rather quick turn. We see Breloom taking out that Cresselia before it even can try to wake up.
Oh, and we see the Rocky Helmet on Cresselia.
Dealing some damage to Breloom. And finally, Hydreigon is doing some work, but we can see, oh, it's not even doing half with all the Calm Minds Cresselia has done. And here comes the Icy Wind.
And that's
going to be enough?
That's it, yeah. I bet so, that's it.
Hydreigon goes down. And the first match goes to Barry.
Barry Best Anderson wins versus Eloy Hahn. Here we go. Watch out the next, here we go again. Hello, ladies and we hope you enjoyed the first VGC match we could show you. We want to see your Twitter feeds. Please Twitter at us, give us feedback, how we are doing, what you want to see, how we can improve our commentary positions. Did you enjoy the match, Julian?
Well, I actually liked it. I'm wondering now, if you're in a position like Eloy has been with two Pokemon of his being asleep and both of them are active, what could possibly be a plan for you to bounce back and come back into the game?
That's pretty tough. That's a pretty tough situation. You have to avoid to get two Pokemon asleep. As everybody knows, Breloom uses Spore. That's a kind of signature attack Breloom likes to do. Barry wants to set that up with a Fake Guard from Leapard. That's his typical lead, Leapard plus Breloom. And you can't protect because you will get Encore into that protect, or you have to switch up. So that's a free Spore again. That's the tactic. You don't want to rely on Spore that much because you never know if the Pokemon just sleeps 1 turn or 2 turns or 3 turns, but we are just heading into the next trading card match again. Oh, and it's still the same match, I think, isn't it, Julian?
It absolutely is. Back into the match here. We want to give you as much action as we can possibly do. You can see in the down left corner the pictures of the two players currently facing each other. That's Andy and Muhammad. Muhammad being on the left-hand side and Andy on the right-hand side, currently shuffling his deck. And now we can see both players are still even. No match has been decided yet. It's still 0-0.
Does a match usually take that long, Julian?
It totally depends on the decks and also the player styles facing each other. But I was suspecting a very close match here. And as you can see, it really seems to be exactly this way. Currently, Aromatiz moved one of the energy cards from the Xenias, that active Xenias, and now I think he's attacking and taking 2 more Fairy-type energy cards and attached them to 2 different Pokemon on his bench. So he's powering up that Gardevoir X we can see there.
Can you tell me who got the upper hand in this matchup right now?
Well, I can see that the prize cards are evenly divided. I think I see 3 prize cards for Muhammad and also 3 prize cards for Andy, who is currently attaching a double colorless energy to Flareon. Now, I can't see the discard pile for Andy. It looks like he has used one of Lysander's trump cards already because it looks rather empty. Look at this. There are not many Pokemon. It looks like there are 2 or 3 Pokemon maybe. So he's using Versus Seeker and bringing out that Jirachi. And I think with its fire weakness, it could be enough. He's counting with Deoxys. Yes, it's enough to deal the knockout to Jirachi. And now there's only 1 prize card left for Andy. And Muhammad is in a very, well, I wouldn't say bad spot because he's able to directly deal a knockout to Flareon.
Okay.
But let's see if he's able to bounce back before Andy takes that last prize.
As I told you about the timer in the video game, is there any play with the timer as well?
There actually is, yes. I don't think that it's important at this point because, as you can see, the trading card players have more time than in VGC because it just takes more time. You also have to shuffle manually, right?
Okay.
As we see that Gardevoir X is evolving into Mega Gardevoir, it's not ending its turn because it has the Spirit Link attached to it. And we see his hand. Yeah, there's another Gardevoir. And is he choosing to also play some more basic Pokemon on his bench? I don't think he has to. And he opts not to. I think he's attaching another Fairy Energy, which now brings him up to 5 energy in total. He's moving 1 with Aromatisse. Now, with 5 energy, that's enough to deal the knockout for Flareon. Gardevoir's attack is allowing him to deal 30 damage times the amount of Fairy-type energy in play for him. So that's 5 times 30, which is 150. That's enough for every Pokemon Andy has in play, except that Deoxys on the bench.
Oh, that's a big deal. Being able to take out almost every Pokemon on the opponent's side, isn't it?
It is, and now Andy's big challenge is going to be, how am I going to take that last prize card? There's one weakness in Muhammad's bench currently, and that is sitting on the bench right now with the Spiritomb. It only has, I think it's 70 HP. I can't read it right now. I don't know by heart. But if he's able to bring that in front and attack with that Empoleon, he's going to be able to draw that last prize card. But it looks like he's getting that Jirachi. Maybe he's getting ready to search that Lysander with Jirachi. Empoleon is dealing damage 10 times the number of Pokemon in play, and that's currently 90 damage. Well, I think he has used one of his supporters already, so he can't use that Jirachi. Now, I think this is it. This is it. Yes.
That's
before Andy was able to use that Lysander on that Spiritomb on the bench, Muhammad acted himself and pulled up that Jirachi, deal 150 damage and knock it out for the 2 prize cards left. As you can see, that Jirachi is a 2-sided edge. Sometimes it really saves your life because there's nothing you can do without it. You maybe are lacking supporters, or you don't have enough cards in hand. So you play Jirachi to get, for example, Professor Juniper. But at the same time, now that Jirachi with its only 90 HP is sitting on his bench, being an X-Pokemon, it's easy for your opponent to bring it in front into the active spot, attack it, and draw 2 prizes with rather little effort.
Or you draw 2 prizes by taking out an X-Pokemon, right?
That's exactly right.
I get it.
So in an ideal world, you would be able to only have to knock out 3 Pokemon X to be able to draw that the 6 prize cards. So that Jirachi is a strength and weakness of decks at the same time. While we are seeing each player shuffling their decks and drawing 7 cards for the second round. Now the score is Muhammad 1 and Andy 0.
Well, let's see what happens in this match. 6 prize cards. Yeah, here we go. Julian, can you explain me what's happening right now on the field?
So that Spiritomb has a very interesting Pokemon power. It does disallows players to play A-spec cards, which is, for example, Computer Search. You can see here. It looks like he's playing Computer Search, but he really did play that Ultra Ball, so he's not breaking the rules at all. Otherwise, we would have to call the judge right away. No, but he's getting out that Xerneas and put it on his bench, while at the same time attaching a Fairy Energy to Spiritomb to be able to retreat it next turn without any cost because of the Fairy Garden Gym being active. And on the other side, now that it's Andy's turn, I have to say, playing against the Flareon deck like Andy's can be almost as frustrating as playing against Seismitoad, because Andy's turns will take rather long. He has quite some decisions to make. He has a lot of cards, a lot of item cards he's playing. As you can see here, he used the Battle Compressor to get out 2 of the Executes, and he can use them to play Ultra Balls for free. Otherwise, you would have to discard 2 cards to use an Ultra Ball. Now that he can use Execute, he doesn't have to discard any of them.
That's a good deal.
He's getting out that Eevee to prepare him for either a Leafeon, and he's evolving that Ditto right away. He can use it, that ability from Ditto, to put any basic Pokemon on it.
Okay.
And he's following it up with a Professor Sycamore, allowing him to draw 7 cards.
What's the ability Energy Evolution by Eevee?
Energy Evolution allows Eevee to evolve into the type of evolution of the energy which is currently attached to Eevee. So if I'm attaching a Fairy type energy to Eevee, I'm allowed to search out my deck for a Sylveon. In this deck, however, it's mainly used for Leafeon, because this deck is only featuring, if I'm looking here at the deck list, it's only featuring Flareon and Leafeon, and he's not playing any fire energies whatsoever. So this power allows him to search out that Leafeon we can see here on the left-hand side, and use that Energy Crush, which is so powerful against Fairy-type decks. Now there's another Ultra Ball for free. You can see here, this is what I meant. We are talking for minutes already, and this turn of Andy's is taking, is going on and on and on. He's playing another Battle Compressor.
That's the difference between the video game and the trading card game. You got the timer in the video game, which
absolutely
allows you not to take as long as you want for the turn, and we can see here that it's taking almost minutes for a turn to end in the trading card game.
Absolutely right. And now he put 3 EVs down, which is nice. So he does have some EVs to bounce back on. Now there's some confusion around the Spiritomb. I'm not sure. Has Andy played any A-spec card last turn? Has he played his Computer Search? He's looking through his discard pile. I don't. Did he? I don't think so. Now.
Oh, there's a second Eevee on the bench, isn't it? Seen correctly?
I'm not sure what the players were talking about. As I can see here, Andy is sorting his discard pile, bringing up those Pokemon so you can easily count them. It looks like, has Muhammad's turn ended already? Yeah, it's a little bit confusing currently.
Well,
to me, because
it's even more confusing to me, Julian.
No, I can tell, I can tell. Don't worry. Okay, no, it's a bad spot for Muhammad currently. He wasn't able to do anything during his last turn, which is very unfortunate. I can see a Gardevoir X in his hand and also a Spirit Link to attach it to, but it wouldn't do him any good. He doesn't have any energy. He can't bring that Xerneas in front and use its attack to search out Fairy Energy types. And now Andy is picking up some steam here and deciding which Eevee to evolve. He is choosing his benched Eevee for Flareon and a Floatstone for his active one. He's bringing Leafeon in front, and I think he's just dealing 20 damage. Yeah, Muhammad is pointing out a dice with 20 damage, and now he's bringing out that Gardevoir. Oh, it just doesn't look too good. No,
Oh, is he giving
Oh,
up?
well, it's
No.
it's using Spiritomb. So it's attacking with Spiritomb to draw as many cards as his opponents. So as long as his Spiritomb is alive, he has some options, but he has not been too lucky now with drawing cards. But now I can see finally a fairy type energy in Muhammad's hand, while Andy is searching his deck for a Deoxys, it looks like. Putting it on the bench, and there comes a Professor Sycamore for 7 more cards. I see double colorless energy. He is kicking the Fairy Gardens for the training center. This is increasing the amount of HP of evolved Pokemon by, I think it's 30, should be 30.
Okay.
And now Leafeon is using its second attack. No, it can't use the second attack because it's water type energy. I think the two players are arguing about it currently. Yeah, it's only 20, just because there's only one fairy type energy attached to Muhammad's Pokemon. So I think there was some confusion around for Andy. He might have made a mistake here, not have noticed that it's actually a water type energy attached to Leafeon.
Oh.
Otherwise, I don't see a reason for him to attach that double colorless. And now,
Maybe he's a bit nervous.
it's always a different situation if you sit in the featured match table.
Yeah.
It can be intimidating because all eyes on you, right?
Yeah.
Not only does the internet see what you are doing, all the good and bad plays maybe, but also people are watching from the hall beside you and try to learn something from you. So the pressure is really on with all the decisions you make.
That's kind of similar to the video game. Some people like to play on the stage, some people don't. I myself like it very much. There are players like Billa who like it really much and like the crowd cheering for them. And some people just don't want to get seen that good and just want to play the game. That's always up to the player. But I think cheering is what's Pokemon for, what we want to see. And I myself cheer a lot when I see Pokemon games, and I hope to cheer a lot today.
Something to cheer about for Muhammad as he is pulling out 2 fairy type energy cards, finally getting up some speed here for his deck, as Andy is using his Acrobike to draw 1 of 2 cards he's currently looking at. There's another Jirachi. Now he's probably thinking about it. Last time Jirachi was, now he's discarding it. Maybe he was thinking about that last game where he lost because of Jirachi. He's using Town Map to reveal all his prize cards. Now, every time he's drawing a prize card, he can decide what he would like to take as a prize.
Okay.
Yeah, there is an energy, I think a grass energy in his hand. He's playing with it. First of all, he's playing the Battle Compressor. Maybe he's thinking about attaching it to Leafeon. Battle Compressor was rather quick. Looking at his deck, I don't think there are many cards left. The discard pile is so much bigger than his deck. Sooner or later, he will have to play Lysander's trump card to shuffle all those cards back into his deck.
Okay.
On the flip side, we see Muhammad. Muhammad's deck is still healthy. He hasn't been able to draw that many cards during his last turns, but now it looks like he's getting back into the game, playing an Ultra Ball. Maybe he's looking for another Gardevoir, or yes, what he's currently missing is an Aromatiz. So Aromatiz will be able to move fairy type energy between his Pokemon next turn once he evolves. And before that happens, he will be able to use the attack another time, get 2 more energy cards, and then he will have 5 energy cards to play with.
Oh, Fairy Transfer seems like a pretty good ability, isn't it? When you can decide with which Pokemon to attack, or
it makes fairy type decks worthwhile. That's such an important card for fairy type decks. Together with the Xanias we are seeing here on the left hand side, if it's using Geomancy, for us Germans not so easy to pronounce, I'm sorry for that. you can attach one fairy type energy at one bench Pokemon for up to 2 Pokemon. And while you would like to power up only one Pokemon, you can use that Aromatiz to then take those 2 energy cards and attach it to whatever Pokemon you would like. And this makes these decks so flexible. Now we can see finally he uses that grass energy, and Eevee's Pokemon power energy evolution makes it evolve into Leafeon right away. It has that 1 energy card it needs to bounce back. And now if you count the fairy type energy cards on Muhammad's side, that would deal already 100 damage because of the 5 fairy types. We see there is I think it's Silver Mirror in English. I'm sorry if that's the wrong word for it. I think it's Silver Mirror attached to Xerneas. That's why the Team Plasma Pokemon Leafeon can't touch it. It's preventing him from getting any damage out of it, so it's a nice counter card for exactly the deck Andy is playing, and he will have to find a way to play around it. Now we see Muhammad looking through his deck for a trainer card as he's playing Skylar. A very beautiful card in my opinion.
And good as well.
He's playing it, so it better be good. I think it's good. In my opinion, it's good. It is a supporter card allowing you to search for a trainer. So if you would like to play that trainer card, it better be an item card or a stadium card. But he's looking for a supporter to play next turn. That's Professor Juniper. So he's setting himself up to draw 7 cards next turn. That's his decision here. And now he's using Aromatiz Pokemon Power to move 3 energy cards to Xerneas and using its second attack, which is dealing exactly 100 damage while at the same time discarding 1 fairy type energy. And that's enough for the first knockout of the game. It's really the first knockout we've seen in this match, in this game, I'm sorry.
And only 7 minutes left.
You can see Xerneas not only powerful, known for its first attack, but also for its Rainbow Spear attack it just used. And it still has that Silver Mirror attached to it. So what's Andy going to do? He will need to find a Statling Megaphone to discard all the tools Muhammad has attached to his Pokemon, but he doesn't find it. He is really, really in a bad situation currently. He just can't do anything to touch that Xerneas. And Muhammad is just
sitting in a good position.
Absolutely. He's playing his supporter cards, he's playing his Juniper, he's feeling good. I'd be feeling good if I was Muhammad currently.
Whoa, Professor Juniper looks like a huge trainer card, isn't it?
You have to play that card 4 times, or Professor Sycamore. It's just so important. It's so critical to every deck to be able to draw more cards, discard your bad hand, and start over again with 7 cards. Another time, Aromatiz puts his Pokemon Power to work, attaching another energy to Xerneas and knocking out another Leafeon.
Whoa.
And what's Andy going to do? He's looking at an N here, I think, or a Versus Seeker. Yeah, let's see what he's got. I'm not sure if he's playing. Let's see. We have his deck list here. Does he play a Statling Megaphone? Looking at Andy's deck. Oh, he's not.
No.
Oh, I'm not sure what he's supposed to do in this spot. If he can't counter that 1 card and he's not looking too good, he has to find a Pokemon that is able to attack him, which is not part of Team Plasma. The other way around would be using Lysander and putting out a Pokemon from Muhammad's bench and attack that because it's not attached with the Silver Mirror. So now, for example, Empoleon, which he's currently discarding with the Battle Compressor, would be the Pokemon he's looking at. This would be the #1 alternative to all the evolutions to attack with. He needs that water energy, though. He's only using 1 water energy, and if he doesn't find that, Empoleon's not going to be able to attack. He's looking through his deck here. Is it left? I haven't seen it yet. It's not attached to any of the Pokemon. It might be part of the discard pile already, as the time is also running out.
What's happening when the time is running out, Julian?
Players will have 3 more turns. The active player ends his turn.
Ah, okay.
Then there will be 3 more turns. Player 1, player 2, player 1, and that's it. By that time, if the score is 1-0, they will count the prize cards, and the player with less prize cards will win the game.
Okay.
If the score is 1-1 and none of the players has won the game by that time, the game is declared as a draw. So currently the time, everything in this match is working for Muhammad. Andy is still not able to get that Empoleon to work.
That's all he need.
Well, even if he had it, it wouldn't do him any good, I think.
Okay.
So if I have to correct myself, I'm sorry. As you can see, I'm a commentator, not a judge. If it's 1-0, the time's running out, it's 1-0.
I don't blame you.
But this is why we have so many colleagues here in the room and also in the hall helping and supporting us to make this tournament run as smoothly as possible. The good thing is that I'm locked down here at the commentator booth and not running around as a judge making wrong decisions. So you guys will have to bear with me. There's another Professor Juniper from Muhammad drawing 7 cards. Now his deck is thinned out a little bit as well, but he's just looking good. I think he realized that he's won this game. There's nothing that can stop him really. Empoleon, yeah, now he has to make that Deoxys active. There's a God of War X waiting to attack her with all its power. There are only 2 prize cards left. It's only a matter of time until Muhammad will have won it. Also, Andy's body posture tells you that he has probably given up on this game already. And who could blame him? It's just such a bad spot to be in.
I don't want to be in that spot.
Yeah, he passed. There's really nothing he can do. He's just waiting for Muhammad to make his move. I'm expecting him to retreat Xerneas now. Yeah, now there's nothing to be afraid of anymore. Even though Deoxys is a Team Plasma Pokemon, it just can't deal enough damage to touch the Mega God of War. Now there are 4 Fairy-type energy in play, so this attack should deal 120 damage. Ready for a 2-hit KO. Not really sure what Muhammad is doing currently. There's really nothing he has to be afraid of. He is looking through his deck for another Pokemon. Not really sure what he's looking for, really. Maybe he just wants to see what's available. That God of War is not really necessarily either. And Andy's just waiting for his fate. He just wants to
poor Andy.
Let Muhammad make his move. There is 120 damage. Yeah, Andy can't do anything. He's giving up. Well played by Muhammad. It really came down to 1 card that won Muhammad the game, and this was the mirror he was playing. It's the Silver Mirror. It's the name in English. That was preventing damage from Team Plasma Pokemon. And if you don't have anything to remove that trainer card, that Pokemon tool, there's really nothing that Andy can do.
What's a Team Plasma Pokemon, by the way?
Team Plasma, as you know, also from the video games, was the bad organization that was... wait, Team Plasma was the organization. What were they trying to do? They were trying to capture all the Pokemon and release them. I think they wanted to get rid of the Pokeballs. Wasn't that the...
I think so, but I'm not that sure, since it's a long time ago I played the games for fun.
I'm not sure either. Maybe you can help us with a tweet or a comment in the Twitch chat. I'm not really sure what Team Plasma was all about and what kind of world domination plan they had. I'm sure they wanted to dominate the world. Who doesn't want to dominate the world?
Like Team... Oh, here we go. We are again on screen.
Yeah, you can see us. We want to dominate the world as well. As you can see here, we are in our small commentator booth, trying to figure out what Team Plasma does. But what I can tell you about Team Plasma Pokemon is they are a little bit different than other Pokemon in the trading card game. They have a blue border to them, so you can differentiate them rather easily. And because they belong to Team Plasma, certain cards play well with them. For example, there are cards like Team Plasma Ball, which allows you to search your deck for 1 Team Plasma Pokemon. Not any Pokemon, but only Team Plasma. So it's really narrowing down the type of Pokemon you can use with certain trainer cards and other abilities. And it makes up for some nice combinations. So Team Plasma Pokemon have their advantages, but also, of course, their weaknesses, as we saw with the Silver Mirror.
Oh, nice. So that's kind of a deck style Team Plasma?
Absolutely. There are even decks that only only use Team Plasma cards. They are not that popular nowadays. Maybe you remember the Lugia X decks.
I remember them, yeah.
Lugia X is all about drawing more prize cards than you're entitled to, because Lugia X Pokemon power would allow you to, if you knock out an opponent Pokemon, just draw one more prize card.
Okay.
So that makes it very powerful. And there are a couple of trainer cards which allows Lugia to get powered up a little bit quicker than it would usually do. So there are decks that are only based around Team Plasma cards. This one is featuring them as well. However, there are some ways to use, for example, Empoleon. Andy was playing 2 Empoleon, which are not belonging to Team Plasma, which could have been able to attack, but they are tough to put onto the bench. So currently on the screen you see some tweets. We would love to see them as well. You can imagine. However, there's just some minor technical issues. You have to excuse this. We are a small team trying to figure out the technical issues we have. Every time we show you our tweets, we actually don't see them. I hope you guys are not saying anything bad about us, because that's why our technical team is not showing us. It's only showing us the back screen. I hope this is not the case.
Oh, here we go again.
But now maybe the tweets will be shown on our screen as well. We would love to interact with you on Twitter as well.
That's what Pokemon
as long as
is
you
for.
don't say anything bad.
Each time the Twitter comes up, our screen goes down.
You see it. That's the most important part. You see the Twitter feeds. You communicate with each other. We communicate with each other.
That's what we do.
That's our world, right? We are here in the commentator booth. There's nothing else we can talk to but ourselves and the camera.
And we love to commentate on Pokemon games today.
But that's true. That's our job. No, but actually, it's a pleasure to be here while we try to figure out the tweets. What's coming up is going to be more action from VGC and also the trading card game.
Right.
I'm trying to figure out the timing we will have until the next VGC round. About 2 to 3 minutes, I hear, which is optimistic. He's making that face now. He's not committing to the 2 to 3 minutes, but as you can imagine, we try to bring you as much action as as we possibly can. And VGC is going to be next. We know you love VGC. We love VGC.
We love VGC.
I love TCG as well. However,
I'm getting into love it.
It's popular demand. It's popular demand to be at VGC next, so that we can get our voices back. We will have some adverts coming up, and we'll be right back after these messages.
Startfrei für die neueste Pokémon-Sammelkarten.
I like what I hear